Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to be going over something that's been mentioned in the comments quite a bit, and that's how much does it cost to actually buy a bar here in Thailand. Now I'll be focusing on the Loy Krabi Boxing Stadium as that's where I know the most, but I'll also be going over some of the different options that are available here in Thailand. Now this will be localized to Chiang Mai, as again that's where I'm located, but I'll be going over some of the different options, and so those will be common across Thailand. But of course, the more popular destinations like Pattaya, Bangkok, and Phuket are going to be more pricey than Chiang Mai, but still the same trends will apply. Anyways, let's get into it. So here is the Loy Krabi Boxing Stadium. I know this whole area is owned by one man. His family actually owned the land, and then he built up the boxing stadium, including all the bars and the Muay Thai ring. So each one of these bars initially was partitioned off and then leased out or sold to an individual owner. Now, again, I say sold, but it's not really sold, as they still have to pay a monthly rent and sign a lease with the owner, a yearly lease. But each one of these is individually owned. And so you have a key money, which is a common thing here that you pay upfront in when you want to get into one of the more popular areas. Now, this is common throughout Thailand. And it's a sum of money upfront that gets you into a commercial property in a busy area. And so in most of the cases here, you paid a key money upfront of 300,000 baht. Now it does vary from bar to bar. And of course, if you're going to buy two bars side by side, then it's going to be double. But by and large, if you want to get a bar here initially from the owner, it was going to be 300,000 baht. Now obviously, none of these bars at the moment are owned by the owner. They are owned by individuals who then run them. So while you could buy one now, as I know there are still a couple that some of the owners are looking to get out of, it's not going to be the initial 300, as the owner can sell them for whatever they would like, whatever they see the market value at. So I know that if you see Sapphire there, and then in that back corner over there, the Witch's Brew, they were recently purchased for around 500,000 to 600,000. So it really does depend on what you feel your property is worth. It depends on the location in the boxing area, and it depends on the quality of bar. Today's video is sponsored by the Loy Krabi Muay Thai shop, located directly beside the Muay Thai Stadium. They sponsor the fights, which happen 3 to 4 days a week, usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then sometimes Saturday as well. And that happens right here in the Muay Thai Boxing Stadium. They also offer any gear you need for Muay Thai fighting if you fight, or if you just want shirts or any other apparel. So here we are outside my old bar, last bar. Now, when I initially purchased this, we purchased it from the owner. It had been sitting empty for a couple of years due to COVID, and the previous tenant had sold it back to the owner. Now, we purchased it for 300,000, but this bar was in rough shape. It was dilapidated and falling down and needed a ton of work. So even though we did pay 300,000 baht, we ended up also having to put another 300,000 to 400,000 into it just to get it operational and where we wanted it. Now that included a new fridge and AC and speakers. So some of the things we could have cheaped out on, but that's what it cost us. Now, along with the purchase prices of all these bars, you're going to have to pay a damage deposit. I don't care if you buy it from one of the previous owners or you buy it from the owner of the area. You're going to have to pay a damage deposit. And so that's 2 months rent, and your first month of rent as well you have to pay at that time. And so that is going to be, at least for us, it was 20,000 a month for rent. So you're going to pay 60,000 baht. But some of the bars, especially near the front or the bigger bars, will be paying more. But that is kind of the average, is 20,000. Now, you also have to pay a processing fee anytime you buy a bar here, even if you buy it from a previous tenant, to do the processing, to make up the paperwork and do all the transfer things that they need to do to be legal and above board. So with that being said, if you do own a bar here, if you have already purchased a bar, you are able to sell it on. That is the nice thing with owning one of these bars down here. You are able to sell that bar on and get whatever you see the value of that bar being. Now again, I know this bar right here is available at the moment for around 650,000 baht. They're looking to sell the bar. The next option is something that's a lot cheaper than going into the boxing area. Now this is where you can just rent out a property. Now I'm here in the Night Bazaar area, just off of Changklan Road, where there's a bunch of small bars, and I can show them to you now. So there's a bunch of smaller bars all over here. There's a food court just over here, but all along that are these small units. Now each one of these varies in price, but they start at around 10,000 baht, and you simply have to rent out the unit. You pay a damage deposit and the first month's rent, and you're in the bar. There's no key money, there's nothing like that. So it's a lot easier to get into. Again, you are left with pretty much just an open concept in a lot of these. This one probably wasn't a bar before, it might have just been a shop. But then you have ones like the one over here that was previously a bar and has the bar top and the back wall all built out, ready for liquor. And so something like this, these are available for rent, are a lot cheaper to get into, a lot easier to get into, and this is also a very popular area. You know, they have the food court over here, which gets very, very busy, and then Changklan Road at this area has a night market every day. So this area can get very busy. But this is not just this area, this is common all throughout Thailand. There are bars like this all over Thailand where it's just a small bar that you just rent out at 10, 20,000 baht a month. No key money, no big initial investment. Just simply rent out a space and get to town. Get to work and get started and open your bar. So this is a lot easier way of getting into a bar. Now I'm here at Zoe and Yellow in the Old City to talk about the last and most expensive option. And that is to buy a bigger club or a more luxury bar in the Old City or in Nimon, in Chiang Mai at least, or to buy a business outright. Now, getting a bar in these areas can cost you a lot more, but I've seen them on Facebook. For instance, you can see bars for sale in Chiang Mai and in other areas of Thailand for as low as maybe 700,000 to 800,000 baht. So still similar to what you're seeing in the boxing, but that is always for the case of simply buying the key money again, putting down the 700,000 baht to buy that property, but still having to pay rent every month and have a lease signed with the owner. So still not truly owning the business. If you would like to own a business outright, then that is just going to increase the money exponentially. You're looking at a couple million baht just to get into a property, and then you having to renovate it. So it really depends on what style of bar you're looking for, where you're looking to be located, and how much money you're wanting to spend. But like most of Thailand, that is really up to you. Again, you can go as cheap as 10, 20,000 baht, or have a much more high entry cost of $1 million to $2 million. It really depends on what you're looking for. So I hope that gave you a good example of the different levels of bars you're able to get into here in Chiang Mai and how that would equate to the rest of Thailand. You know, it's going to be a similar principle down south in the bigger cities with the different options available, buying a business outright being the most expensive, then paying key money and paying a monthly rent, and then finally just renting out a property. And they all come with their pros and cons, but it really depends what you're looking for. Obviously, if you're looking to get into a lady bar like the ones in the boxing area, then you're going to have to be limited to what they offer. That you can't start a lady bar in a non-lady bar area. It just won't work as well. So if you're wanting to go into one of those areas, then you kind of have to play with what they're giving you. But I hope that was informational. And if you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below. Cheers. If you like this video, I think you'll like one of these. Now, if you're interested in Thailand nightlife, you're new to Thailand or a seasoned veteran, check out my community in the description where you can meet like-minded people.